early goal and try to put Rochester on their heels. Rochester has clinched a playoff berth, but if they can win or draw tonight, they will wrap up the Eastern Conference because Louisville, who sits behind them in the standings, cannot catch them. So Rochester would pick up the Eastern Conference top seed in the upcoming playoffs. So that's just about a given, to be honest with you, because it doesn't look like Louisville's going to be able to catch them. On this breezy night here in Richmond, Virginia. Battle for that 50-50 ball. Yambi got ahead on it. And now the ball is played. And here comes Rochester. There's a cross, and Wara lets that go. Yambi got a foot on it. That cross came from number 21, Forbes, for Rochester. And now the Rhinos in possession. As they play it over on the far side. And it's dropped back now. As now they regroup offensively. That ball was touched over by number 22, Ringoff. And Rochester continues to possess. Again, they've lost just one road game this season, has Rochester. Here's Ringoff. Ball nudged forward, blocked by Troyer, trying to restart the Richmond offense. Here's Grant, puts on the brakes. Lays it off now to Callahan. And here's Mishu. Mishu being watched carefully. Richmond in possession right at midfield. Here's Asante. Off to Troyer. Gets a return pass. And he'll play it back to William Yambi, the veteran defender for the Richmond Kickers. Possession for Richmond. Here's Yambi. Off to Troyer. Troyer trying to maneuver around. Ball was knocked off of him, now played by Rochester. And the ball squeezes to a Rochester player. And now it's played back to the goalkeeper, Miller. By the way, some players that want to be careful tonight for both teams. For Richmond, Samuel Asante, Asante has been issued, 4 yellow cards, and he's one caution away from serving a suspension for the yellow card accumulation. Meanwhile, Fred Owusu for Richmond has been issued 7 yellow cards. He's one caution away from serving a 2-game suspension. So they want to be very, very careful tonight on the Richmond side. And on the Rochester side, Patrick McMahon and also Christian Valesky want to be careful because they have been awarded, or I shouldn't say awarded, but have been cited for 4 yellow cards. So they are one caution away from serving a 1-game suspension. So those players might want to be on their best behavior tonight for both teams. We're scoreless, just underway here at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia, as that long ball trying to go over the top was overcooked, and it'll be a goal kick for for Rochester, and their goalkeeper Miller, Brandon Miller. So Miller with the goal kick for the Rochester Rhinos. And the ball comes free. Forbes nudged it ahead. Now played over to Forbes. Forbes gets himself free, puts it into the middle of the box, chested up in the air, and it's loose. And now Yambi, dangerously close to his goalkeeper, just threw it into some open space and is tracked down by number 11 into the box, and it's headed away, and it'll be a corner kick for the Rhinos. It'll be the first corner kick of the night for either team. Number 11 is Johnny Mendoza for the Rochester Rhinos. So first corner kick of the night for the Rhinos. Looks like it's going to be Mendoza handling it. He's got Forbes right there near him for a short corner if he wants it. And he does. Gets a return, puts it into the box, and it's headed away by Yambi. Well, that looked like that might be headed into that far corner of the goal, but Yambi was right there to play it away, and now the ball is corralled. And the cross attempt, Troyer blocked that aside as that attempt was made by number 4, Tosh. And it'll be a corner kick for Rochester, their second corner kick here in the last 45 seconds or so. And this corner kick is going to be handled down. Now they're saying it's a throw-in, so it's a throw-in for the Rhinos. And ball played back now to number 13. That's Garzi. And then Imura pushes it back to Troyer, but he sends it out of play to be a throw-in once again for the Rochester Rhinos. And number 15, that's McMahon. He'll throw it in. Gets a return pass, Pat McMahon trying to get away from Imura. He fed it over to number 10. That's Duba. And now here comes Richmond. Here's Asante. Finds some open space with Mishu. Mishu puts on the brakes. Off to Callahan. No, Asante decided to play that instead of Callahan. And now it's played back to Jalen Robinson for the Richmond Kickers. We're scoreless here at City Stadium, just underway with this key USL matchup in the Eastern Conference between the front-running Eastern Conference Rochester Rhinos and the Richmond Kickers. Ball played for Grant. Grant was double-teamed. And now Miller comes off his line and will field it. And now Miller will just roll it out to get the restart going. Our great camera crew back with you. It's Dave, Sean, and Tim along with us once again under the direction of Mike. A crew that does a great job bringing you Richmond Kickers soccer on the Kickers YouTube channel. And now it's Rochester. This is their game. Rochester very patient, possessing the ball, looking for some openings. Ball played off now to McMahon. He finds Forbes. He tried to chip it past Troyer, but Troyer was able to control momentarily. But now McMahon racing by, but he had it poked away on a neat play that time by Asante. But then a nice play by Rochester to regain possession. A little step over here, and then a good play by Jalen Robinson. Ball played in, and Yambi clears it away for Richmond. Back comes Richmond, long ball over the top, looking for Yeisley, and that's going to scoot through to Miller as he comes off his line and scoops it up for the Rochester Rhinos, and he gets it right back in play as he got it off to number 4, Tosh. And again, Rochester in possession. Here's Tosh. Taking a look now. Plays it over on the far side. The ball touched forward, and then Robinson was able to beat his man to the ball as he was able to beat number 3, Alex Dixon, to that ball. So it'll be a throw in for Rochester, and we get a quick restart. As the Rhinos waste no time getting the ball back in play. Ball played down the line. Good ball here as Rochester just outside the box. Looking for a foul, no foul. And now we do get a foul. This one's going against Richmond. And it'll be a free kick for the Kickers just outside their goal area box. And Wara will handle it for the Richmond Kickers. Looking for Yeisley. Ball's headed up in the air. Grant tried to control, couldn't do it. Here's Forbes. Forbes getting some pressure. Good job by Asante. Took a hit, but Asante maintains possession and stole that ball away. Back comes Mishu. Off to Grant. Grant, nice job of getting around the defender. Puts it into the middle. Here's Yeisley. And Yeisley's first touch evaded him. And now we've got a whistle and a foul. Jumping in that time, I believe it was Callahan. Unfortunate for Jason Yeisley, that first touch just a little too heavy. As you look at Lee Collishaw calmly getting a sip of water and taking in the action. As Rochester with possession in this scoreless matchup. Ball played off now. Here's McMahon, and he'll just play it back to Miller. As Rochester again, very patient with their possession game. as they continue to hold possession. There's the ball played off now. And again, looking that far side, chested down, good first touch that time from Rochester. Hey fans, have you visited the new USLsoccer.com? Well, when you do, that's when you get the latest news and live stats. Plus, you can check out the new social media hub. Visit USLsoccer.com. So the Rhinos in possession. We're scoreless here at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. Mike Neville and the rest of our production crew along with you. As I mentioned, this is the final the third game of a three-game homestand for the Kickers. And so far in the homestand, they're 1-1. Here's Forbes for Rochester. And looking for some space. Ball is dropped off. Here's Tosh. And Tosh off to Forbes. One touch. And still going. He went down. No call. And Forbes is not happy about that. Here's Troyer. And the ball's played ahead to Imura. And Imura gets worked over. And there's a foul whistled against Tosh. Forbes is not happy with the assistant referee. He thought he was clipped and tripped just outside the box, but the assistant referee said nope. So we're going to continue play. Here's Yambi. Nudges it ahead to Asante. And Asante lost possession. Here's the ball off to McMahon. Here's Forbes. Forbes takes a look with a cross. And that ball is headed back towards Wara, and he will scoop it up. And now Wara rolls it out to Callahan for Richmond. Here's Imura. Troyer pushes it forward. Is too much on it. Grant trying to catch up with it, and will. Anthony Grant along the touchline. Nice move, and Grant went down. No call, and it'll be a throw-in for Richmond. So both teams a little upset right now with the officiating. And it looks like Richmond is going to be awarded their first corner kick of the night. Rochester has two. And Owusu will take this one. Good look from our cameraman, Sean. And Owusu's kick is headed away. Callahan just taps it over to Troyer. And Richmond will try to regenerate some offense. Into the box it goes. And Miller comes off his line as Grant was kind of shielded off by the Rochester defender, so he had no chance of getting to that loose ball. So possession for the Rhinos. Here's McMahon. Pat McMahon for the Rochester Rhinos. And playing it ahead that time was number 13, Garzi. As again, Rochester with their possession game on what has turned out to be all of a sudden a very breezy night. You probably can hear it through my microphone. Extremely breezy. But I don't want to jinx this, but I think we're going to stay dry because we don't really have a lot of clouds. So, but I'm not a weatherman. So possession battled for. Ball squirts free, and it's handled this time by Dixon for the Rhinos. And that ball was almost stolen, and that pressure forced a quick kick, and it's Richmond now with possession, but now Rochester with some high pressure, and Jalen Robinson's going to be whistled for the foul as he took down the Rochester player. So an excellent opportunity here for the Rhinos from about 20 yards out. A free kick for Mendoza. Puts it into the box. It's headed up in the air, and Tosh got a head on it, but he knocked it out of play, so it'll be a goal kick for the Richmond Kickers. Richmond hits the road next week. They travel to Harrisburg. That's a key matchup because Harrisburg is still entertaining thoughts of making the playoffs. Harrisburg coming in tonight has 34 points. They're currently sitting in the 8th spot. but they're just 2 points behind Richmond. Richmond with 36. Richmond holds down that 5th spot. Charlotte also has 36 points, and they hold down the 6th spot. But again, you want to get into the top 4 so you can host at least a first-round playoff game. But as it stands right now, if the season were to end today, the Kickers would have to go on the road for that opening game. But there are 2 regular season games left at Harrisburg on Saturday, and then Wednesday the 16th, the Kickers will close out their regular season here at City Stadium. Here's an opportunity. Good ball laid off to Troyer. Troyer into the middle, and it's cleared away by Rochester. Great job by Richmond to build that offensive flurry. And now Imura tracks it down for Richmond. Hey fans, become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. Again, that's when you become a fan of the USL on Facebook. So here's Richmond. That ball's laid off, trying to make some moves, and unable to squeeze through, and that ball rolls over the end line for a goal kick. So Brandon Miller will handle the goal kick for the Rochester Rhinos. The Richmond Kickers will close out their regular season on Wednesday, September 16th. They'll be here hosting Toronto, and that will wrap up the regular season. So again, at Harrisburg next week and home to Toronto on Wednesday night, the 16th of this month. Here's Wara, and he'll scoop that up as he was getting some pressure that time from Rochester. And here's possession now for Callahan. He's being watched by number 10, Duba, which of course is DeSantos for Rochester. Richmond in control. Here's Yambi looking to go over the top with it, looking for Yeisley. And that ball squirts free and is cleared away by number 7, Obasai. As Richmond once again in possession again, trying to go over the top, and it's headed away. Good hustle here by Callahan. And he found Imura. He tried to squeeze a pass through, went off a Rochester player, so Richmond will get their second corner kick of the evening. Now that will tie them with Rochester. Rochester also has 2 corner kicks to their credit. And again, it'll be Owusu who will take this corner kick for the Richmond Kickers. Owusu hits it, and ball was punched away by Miller as he beat Yeisley. Yeisley was right there. Here's Owusu again, looking to put it into the box. His crossing attempt blocked. And there's a whistle and a foul against Owusu as he was tangled up with Forbes. Told you, Owusu and Asante, they've got to be careful with these yellow card accumulations. So here's Miller. Just taps it to get the restart going for the Rochester Rhinos. Again, the Rhinos are in the gold stripes with the green uniforms. Richmond is in the black with the white trim. As Rochester maintains possession at midfield. Looking for Forbes, and Troyer got ahead on that, and that ball will squirt out of play. It'll be a throw-in as Pat McMahon will chase it down and throw it in for the Rochester. As the Rhinos hold possession. And ball squirts free to Jalen Robinson. He taps it over to Mishu for Richmond. Now Richmond in possession. And Tosh stepped in front of that pass. And here is DeSantos. Again, goes by the nickname of Duba. Ball played. Turning away from Callahan. Good speed here. Dixon feeds it over to Mendoza. Mendoza will now just play it back. Ball is put into the box, and that one will scoot over the end line for a goal kick for the Richmond Kickers. No score, City Stadium, Richmond, Virginia. Look at the Red Army, which is always out in full force for Richmond Kickers soccer. And Wara hits the goal kick for Richmond. Battle for that ball between McMahon and Yeisley. And then down went a Rochester player, and the whistle, the foul goes against Anthony Grant as Julian Ringoff hit the deck. I think maybe Ringoff might have some blood on him. I think that's why they're sending him to the sideline. I think the referee is pointing at his elbow, and I think that's the. So he'll come back in the game, but he'll get tended to by the training staff. Put a bandage or a wrap on that and get him back into the lineup. So right now, Rochester playing with just 10 players. And the ball is controlled by Asante. He was able to beat Dixon to it. Here's Mishu. Mishu plays it, and Yeisley got a shoulder on it, and the ball's cleared out of play. So a throw in for the Kickers. Here's Callahan. Now here's Imura. Imura trying to maneuver around. Finds Callahan. Off to Asante. Asante trying to go over the top. Yeisley couldn't get a head on it. Again, he was closely watched, and when you have 12 goals on the season, you're going to get a lot of attention. And he does. Hey, folks, don't forget you can follow the USL on Twitter to become a league insider. Join club conversations and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Again, that's when you follow the USL on Twitter. So the goal kick for Brandon Miller. And that ball squirts free to Forbes. There's Imura. And Imura fights off a challenge, but Forbes gets it back. He lays it over the top, and running onto it is Dixon, and the flag is up for the offsides indication. And Richmond goes with a quick restart. Here's Callahan. Off to Asante. Here's Mishu. Back to Asante. Troyer will track that down for Richmond. As the Kickers maintain possession. Again, if Rochester can get a win or a draw tonight, they will pick up their first USL regular season championship since 2010. And of course, the Rhinos again need either a victory or a draw or a defeat for Louisville FC. Louisville FC is taking on the New York Red Bulls 2 tonight. But the Rhinos could clinch the top seed because no one could catch them in the Eastern Conference. So here's Imura. Lays it off to Robinson as Richmond with the possession game now. And Robinson sweeps the pass over to Callahan, looking for the overlap. He's got Troyer. Here's Braden Troyer. Troyer putting it into the box. Owusu trying to settle it down. Goes down, no contact. There was contact, but there's no call, I should say. And Owusu is still down. Here's Callahan. Owusu is still down. There's a shot of him there. Let's see if he's going to get up. He looks like he's going to be okay. So here's Callahan. Off to Yambi. Here's Troyer. Richmond in possession with Callahan. Callahan getting the start tonight. And that ball slid off the foot of Imura. And Rochester regains possession. Here's Forbes. Back to McMahon. Back to Forbes. They nudge it ahead. Dos Santos off to Forbes. He's got a lot of pressure from Owusu. And finally he's able to find McMahon. Off now to Ringoff. as Rochester tries to build their offense. Still looking for our first goal of the evening. Here's Forbes. Tosh sends it over, gets the pass goes through, and good job of tapping it over to Mendoza. And Wara was able to beat Tosh to that ball that was sent in from Johnny Mendoza for the Rhinos. Here's Mishu playing it ahead, and it's still in play. Good job that time from number 5, Apostopoulos. Here's Jambi. Jalen Robinson. That turnover. Here's Asante. He's coming full steam, and good tackle that time. And a whistle, so I guess it was not a good tackle. Asante was coming full steam. So the foul whistled against Rochester. Free kick opportunity for the Richmond Kickers. Let's see who's going to take this. Looks like Owusu's going to take this free kick. And the ball's put into the box. And Miller handles that as Yeisley just had a flyby. Miller handled that with ease. Here's McMahon back for Rochester. There's the Rhinos. Again, with the possession game. This game is probably about 50-50 as far as possession for both teams in this first half. As ball is played ahead. Robinson battling with the Santos. And now Tosh plays it back. Gets a, that's Mendoza now. Here's Tosh. As Rochester in possession. Garzi was able to send it back. Now trying to go over the top, and Worrell will handle that easy ball. As Richmond regains possession. Here's Samuel Asante. Asante looks a little bit more active in tonight's game than he was a week ago in that 2-0 loss to Charleston here at City Stadium. Ball played ahead, and Rochester regains possession. A nice steal that time by Owusu. But Rochester's able to regain possession. Robinson battling with Dos Santos. Here's Tosh now. Off to Mendoza, Johnny Mendoza. Bangs one off of Mishu. Asante battling, and there's a whistle. And we got a Rochester player down. And that's going to be Johnny Mendoza, who I believe is down. Trainer's going to come out and attend to him. Did you look at Mendoza getting attended to? So the Eastern Conference standings, we mentioned Rochester, of course, leading the Eastern Conference standings with their 53 points, 15-1-8 on the season. They are having a magical season. Louisville City FC, which has also clinched a playoff berth, is in second with 48 points. They are 14-5-6 overall. Then the New York Red Bulls, too, with 39 points. They're 11-8-6 overall. Followed by the Charleston Battery, who also have 39 points. Charleston has a mark of 10-6-9 on the season. Then you've got the Kickers coming in with 36 points. They're pardon me. They are 9-7-9 overall. Have a pretty good record here at City Stadium. They've only lost twice. They're 6-2-4 here at City Stadium, and 3-5-5 on the road. And then you've got the Charlotte Independents, also with 36 points. They are 9-6-9. So again, those are your top 6 teams that would qualify for the playoffs. And the way the playoff works in the USL is if you the top 2 seeds get byes, and then the 3rd and 4th place teams would host first round games against the 5th and 6th seeds. And folks, don't forget Nike. They are a proud sponsor of the USL. You can follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. So we're back underway. And that ball floats all the way to Miller. Looks like Mendoza's going to come right back in as he was off on the side, but he's kind of loosening up. Brandon Miller, the goalkeeper for Rochester. Here's Forbes battling Troyer. And now Imora comes, and now the foul is whistled against Braden Troyer. So it looks like McMahon will handle this free kick. No, it's going to be Forbes for Rochester. We've got the big guy, DeSantos. He's a pretty big target. Tosh is also a pretty good target. Let's see what Forbes does. He's just going to play it back near midfield, and it's handled there by Ringoff. Here's McMahon now. McMahon off to Tosh. Takes a look around. He's got a little bit of real estate to work with. See if he tries to go over the top. Nope. Rolls it off to McMahon. Gets a return pass. And now here is number 13 in possession. That is Garzi. Once again, Rochester goes back to that possession game. That ball is drilled over the defense. Wara plays it on a hop. So Richmond in possession. Still looking for our first score this evening. We have unofficially about 13 or 14 minutes left in this opening half here at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. Mike Neville along with you. Throw in for Mishu. And Mishu's got a lot of real estate to use on that sideline for this long throw. And that one's headed away. And back comes Rochester. Dixon playing it to some open space where it's tracked down by Forbes. And Forbes hits it. Looking for Dixon. That sailed over his head. And Mishu will keep it in play. Off to Asante. Callahan heads it forward. And Callahan again got a head on it. Ball squirts free, but Troyer's there to just play it ahead. And a whistle. Foul against Yeisley. So Rochester with the free kick near midfield. And Callahan battling, came up with the ball. His pass went behind Grant. And now it's cleared forward. Troyer is going to get the little ball nudged over to him off the head of Yambi. And he just gave it away to midfield. Now controlled by Garzi. And the Rhinos again with possession. By the way, Jason Yeisley, let's see, he's played 24 minutes tonight, so he came into tonight 24 minutes short of reaching 7,000 USL regular season minutes for his career. So he has topped that because we've gone past the 24-minute mark. So congratulations to the Richmond Kickers, Jason Yeisley. There's the ball, Troyer. McMahon comes up with the stray pass, and he gave it away. Good hustle by Callahan, and Callahan touches it ahead to Grant. Grant now off to Asante. Here's Owusu to Mishu, and that pass was knocked aside that time by Abasai for Rochester. Oh boy, unable to control that throw in. And here's Owusu trying to squeeze a pass through to Grant. And a diving header that time from Tosh. Here's Callahan as Richmond now creating some offensive pressure. Here's Imura. Imura plays it back to Troyer. Back to Imura. Here's Callahan. Some good stuff here by Richmond. Callahan hooks the pass. It's knocked away. Callahan trying to track it down. And he's going to be whistled for a foul, and also some plastics going to be shown. Yellow card issued against Mike Callahan for that tackle. Not sure if that's Tosh. Yes, it is Tosh down, number 4 for the Rhinos. By the way, the USL had its highest weekly attendance of the season in week number 24. USL soccer fans turned out in full force, pouring through the turnstiles to watch the playoff races heat up. Listen to this, 65,448. So the USL with a strong week around the league with tremendous attendance figures. So we applaud the USL fans for supporting USL soccer. And it'll be a throw in for Rochester. We're scoreless here at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. Mike Neville along with you. Here's Garzi playing it now as Rochester again maintains possession. That ball knocked down and picked up by Asante. Samuel Asante trying to play it over the top for Grant. Good hustle by Asante. He got bumped down by Mendoza. And a throw in for Richmond. No score. Winding down this first half here at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. There's Jalen Robinson in possession for the Kickers. Off to Callahan. Callahan slams on the brakes and now plays it over to Robinson. Jalen Robinson trying to go over the top. Callahan rolls it back to Yambi. He's got some pressure on him, so he'll play it back to Wara. Travis Wara getting some pressure. Throws it into some open space. McMahon settles for Rochester with a good first touch. Here's Garzi now playing it for the Rhinos. Still looking for someone to dent the scoreboard here in this first half. Ball played for Forbes. Troyer marked him well and heads it, but he headed it right to McMahon. Ringoff was able to send it across as Rochester has possession near midfield. Again, trying to go over the top, and that ball squirted free, and Wara just missed a hook up there as they were trying to hook up with the Santos. He kind of slowed up. I think he thought that ball was going to be played, but it squirted past the Richmond defender right to Wara. He played it well. Here's Jambi. Ball pushed ahead. Here's Asante. And Mishu. Off to Yambi. Quickly one touches it forward to Troyer. Here's Imora. Imora with some space at midfield. Lobs a pass down the sideline, and it's headed out of play by Rochester. Here's Mishu. Quick restart. And Asante. To Imora. Off to Mishu. He's going to line up a drive into the box, and it's cleared away. It'll be a throw in for the Kickers. So here's Mishu. Mishu's throw squirts free, and it's cleared away and kept in play by Rochester for a moment. Now it'll be a throw in once again for the Richmond Kickers. There's possession for Callahan. Callahan just gently slides a pass over to Asante. There's Owusu, and his pass attempt was blocked. Dixon taps it forward for Rochester as they counter now. Down the far sideline with DeSantos, watched by Owusu. And DeSantos now plays it nicely, challenging there. Here's McMahon for Rochester, off to Forbes. Forbes working on Troyer. Troyer won that battle, but McMahon follows it up. But then it's Callahan coming up with a loose ball. It's away from McMahon. Plays it back to William Yambi. Hey fans, don't forget all USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today for your chance to watch all regular season and playoff games live, free, and in HD. So here's Richmond in possession. Here's Asante. Off to Mishu. Putting one into the box. Geisley tried to get a head on it. The follow-up now for Asante. Got it poked away. Here comes Mendoza back for Rochester. And then Tosh plays it. And ball played forward. And that one skims over the sideline for a throw-in for Richmond. Winding down this first half. Here's Troyer. Braden Troyer. Now to Imura. Neither team has had a real strong shot at getting a goal. They've had some balls that have floated into the box, but really no threats for either team. And that ball scoots free to Miller. Both teams have shown good patience with their possession game. Geisley now runs to challenge the kick from Miller. Troyer battling Forbes. Nice job by Callahan to settle down with great first touch, but the ball squirts free. And now looking for Forbes. And Forbes had it poked away by Troyer. Troyer trying to keep it in play. Great hustle by Braden Troyer to keep that one alive. Now McMahon. And there's going to be a whistle on Callahan. Mike's already been issued one yellow card tonight. And here's a great opportunity for the Rhinos from about 20 yards or so with the free kick. Now the last time they were lined up from about 20, 25 yards, they instead of putting one in the box, they just played it back and back towards midfield. Let's see what happens on this opportunity. As Forbes and Mendoza, looks like Forbes is going to take this one. Gets the whistle. And he is going to put it in the box. And it's headed away by William Yambi. And the ball's tracked down by Rochester. Again, they put it into the box, headed away by Geisley. And again, Rochester in possession. Here's McMahon. Gets some help. Ball played for Mendoza. And there's a whistle. And they're going to say it's not a, they're going to issue another yellow card, this one to Jalen Robinson. And again, Rochester will have a great opportunity from just outside the box. That's DeSantos, I believe, that was taken down just outside the box, as he's feeling the effects of that tackle. So Robinson is issued the yellow card. See DeSantos trying to walk that off for the Rhinos. And like I said, that was dangerously close to being in the box. And of course, if that would have been the case, it would have been a penalty kick, which of course Charleston, that's how they got on the board last week, was on a penalty kick called against the Rhino, or against the Kickers. And that ball is put along the ground. It's blocked by the wall, though. Pops free. Here's Tosh. Tosh gets inside the box, but then Troyer. Good job of pushing it ahead to his teammate, Grant. A couple of players overran the ball. Now we got a whistle and a foul. And Lee Collishaw is up in arms, not understanding that call. I thought that's one they should have let go and just play on, but The foul was against Richmond. As Rochester's in possession. We're scoreless here at City Stadium. Here's Forbes. Slides it over to Mendoza. He settles near the end line. And Mendoza plays it back. Some possession here. Trying to work towards the end line and does. Into the box. It's nudged away and then cleared away that time. Good run that time from Obasai. 1 minute of stoppage time, that's all. And a whistle and a hold that time against Rochester. I think they're going to get Obasai on the hold, number 7. So here's Richmond with the free kick opportunity. Callahan's got it lined up. And Callahan has Mishu to his right, and he uses him. And now Mishu puts it in. It's blocked away. Callahan tracks it down. And Callahan weaves away from some pressure. Off to Troyer. He sends one, trying to hook up with Yeisley, and it's headed away. Richmond's going to get a corner kick opportunity, but they will not get a corner kick opportunity as the whistle blows to end the first half, much to the chagrin of the home crowd, especially the Red Army. They thought that the kicker should have at least gotten an opportunity with the corner kick. And there's a discussion going on. Looks like Jalen Rose is talking to the City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. So we get you ready for the second half of this evening's USL Eastern Conference matchup between the Rochester Rhinos and your homestanding Richmond Kickers. Mike Neville and the rest of our production crew along with you this evening. As we get ready for the second half, Rochester will kick off to start half number 2 here at City Stadium. Very important game, as we mentioned. The Richmond Kickers sitting in 5th place in the Eastern Conference, trying to move up to at least the 4th spot if they can, so they can get a home playoff game in the first round. The top 6 teams make the playoffs. The first 2 seeds have first round byes, and then the 3rd and 4th place teams host opening round games against the 5th and 6th seeds. So that's what's at stake in these last couple of weeks of the regular season here in USL Soccer. And a whistle foul against Samuel Asante. And again, we told you he's got to be very careful. Yellow card accumulation. If he gets issued another yellow card, he'll be suspended 1 game. And if Owusu gets issued a yellow card, he'll be serving a 2-game suspension. So both those guys have got to be on their best behavior when it comes to questioning the official this evening, the referee, our center referee. So here's Rochester with a opportunity. And Forbes hits it. And it's headed away by Yambi. Ball played ahead. And that first touch eluded Rochester, so it'll be a goal kick for the Richmond Kickers. Okay, so Tony Walls, number 20, is in to the lineup for Rochester, and Walls is taking the place of number 22, Ringoff. So Tony Walls for Ringoff. That's so far the only substitution for either team, and that's from Rochester. And Walls has tallied 4 goals this season and a couple of assists for 10 total points for the Rhinos. Rhinos don't score a lot, but they also don't give up a whole bunch. Just 12 total goals this season, and they've only scored 34. Compared to Richmond, Richmond has scored 38 goals and given up 33 goals this season. So here's Rochester in possession. Second half underway here at City Stadium. Ball played back to Miller, and he drives it forward. It went over Yambi's head. Yambi's able to recover and touch it back to Wara. Wara's got some pressure on him, and he's forced to just drill that one out of play. Throw in for Rochester. And again, a quick restart. Here's McMahon. Tosh was able to settle, and he just Chips one forward, trying to hook up with Mendoza. Ball squirts free to Forbes. And Worrell will play that on a hop. He'll just roll it off to Mishu. And Mishu plays it off to Owusu. Owusu is able to find Yambi. And William Yambi now to Robinson as Richmond possesses. Again, both teams pretty much had even possession, I think, in that first half. Maybe Rochester a little bit more. No real threats. There was one that was a cross. I was talking to our director, Mike, and he saw it just like I did when the ball sailed over Wara, but William Yambi was right there on the far post to head it off the line. That was really the only threat. That came off a Rochester free kick. Here's Owusu. And he lost possession to Forbes. And Forbes now getting some attention from Troyer. Ball played ahead and out of play. And we got a throw in for the Richmond Kickers. Again, big matchup tonight in Pittsburgh as the Riverhounds are hosting the Charleston Battery. Pittsburgh is entering tonight's contest match just 1 point behind the Kickers and Charlotte for that 5th and 6th spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs, or excuse me, Eastern Conference standings. Whistle and a foul against Tosh. Every game crucial now. There's only about 2 or 3 games for the Kickers. After tonight, just 2 games remain in the regular season. Rochester has 3 games left. Actually, I think Rochester has 2 games left after tonight as well. So here is Rochester in possession. Ball played back to number 7. That is Obasai. Now McMahon rolls it forward to Forbes. And again, Rochester patient with their possession game. There's Obasai. Once again, Rochester now trying to go over the top, and Wara will handle that with no problem. A little bit too much on that, overcooked. Trying to hook up with Dos Santos. Here's Mishu off to Callahan. No substitutions yet for the Richmond Kickers. We told you Walls is into the contest for Rochester. And an offsides against Anthony Grant, and he kind of knew it. Well, he had slowed down, but now he's kind of complaining, so. Brandon Miller will handle the free kick, and Mendoza was slow to get up. And now it looks like Johnny Mendoza is going to trot to the sideline. And this might be a substitution here. Yeah, it looks like number 8 is going to report in for the Rhinos. And Mendoza will take a seat. Number 8 is Voleski, Christian Voleski. So Voleski for Mendoza. That's the second substitution for the Rhinos tonight. That ball battled for. Troyer heads it, and finally getting it down to feet is Asante. Off to Troyer. Troyer's got some pressure. Still manages to find Geisley. He flicked a header right to a Rochester player. Now the ball is played back. Here's Forbes. I was right in front of the bench, and Lee Collishaw got up, and not sure if he was happy with his team's defending there, but it's going to work out as tracking that down is Robinson, and he's forced to play it out. Good pressure that time. Here's Obasai playing it forward, and that'll be a throw in once again for Rochester. Obasai will handle the throw in. And the ball is played over on the far side to number 20. 20 is Tony Walls, who's reported in one of two substitutions that Rochester has made so far this evening. As again, the Rhinos with the possession. Here's Obasai getting some pressure from Owusu. Walls plays it and almost gave it away, but Walls is able to track it down once again. Imoro was in the neighborhood, almost came up with a steal that might have started a break for Richmond. Now trying to go over the top, and Mishu chests that one down. Good first touch from him. Up to Jalen Robinson. And Robinson trying to go long to Anthony Grant. And now Grant. Forbes coming up to challenge Troyer, and Asante is taken down rather rudely. Free kick for the Richmond Kickers. So the Kickers with a free kick. City Stadium, Richmond, Virginia, in this scoreless matchup. There's Jalen Robinson surveying the field, trying to go over the top. Miller way out, and Walls was able to pound that one forward for Rochester. Hey fans, have you ever visited the new USLsoccer.com? Well, when you do, that's where you can get the latest news as well as live stats, and you can also check out the new social media hub. Again, that's USLsoccer.com for all the information you need about USL Soccer. Ball played forward. Yeisley went down, no call, and now they are, but they're going to say it's a throw-in, no foul. I tell you, Yeisley and Delhi, they take a pounding when they're almost like a hockey center when they get in front of the goal or even away from the goal, as you just saw a moment ago. Here's Callahan. Here's Robinson. Or Asante, excuse me. And the ball's touched over to Mishu. And a throw in. Mishu. It's a quick restart going. Here's Owusu with a good cross. And Miller trying to hook up with Yeisley. That was a great cross that time by Owusu. But Miller made a fine play. Again, coming in tonight, he has posted 11 shutouts. And this is 18th start of the season for Rochester, with a save percentage of .816. Here's a long ball trying to go over the top. DeSantos trying to run onto that. And Warren could not get to it. And it'll be a goal kick. Warren came off his line, and DeSantos was able to push it past him, but he popped it up and it went over the end line for a goal kick. No score here at City Stadium. The Kickers will be on the road next Saturday night, traveling to Harrisburg. That's a key matchup, the way things are shaping up in this Eastern Conference. And then they'll close out their season here at City Stadium on Wednesday, September 16th. 7 o'clock kickoff as they host Toronto. Still lots of soccer left for the Kickers, and lots at stake. Here's Dixon playing it back for the Rochester Rhinos. The Rhinos have clinched a playoff spot along with second place Louisville City FC. But there's still a lot of jockeying going on from actually third place all the way back to about 8th. Teams separated by 1, 2, 3 points. And again, this game wrapping up a 3-game homestand for the Kickers as they try to start September off on a winning note after going 2-3-1 in the 6 games played in the month of August. And Obasai fights off a tackle attempt, goes back to Tony Walls. Walls gets the return pass from McMahon. As the Rhinos. Here's Walls again. It's off to McMahon. McMahon getting some pressure from Imura. And now that pass is going to have to be tracked down by Obasai, as that's going to allow Richmond now to put some high pressure on those defenders. And unable to keep it in play that time was number 8, who is reported in, we told you about. Number 8 is Valesky. Now it's Richmond with possession. Here's Asante. And that ball sailed over the head of Owusu. Throw in for the Rochester Rhinos. Get our camera crew, Dave, Tim, and Sean along with you. Our director is Mike once again. Here's Yeisley trying to fight off a tackle. Does. And Yeisley takes a bump, and boy, that's got to be obstruction there. And Yeisley lost a shoe. So Jason Yeisley will quickly put on there. There he is. He's going to have to get that puppy back on. So there was actually 2 fouls, but the first foul, the official center referee let it play on because there was an advantage, but then as soon as Yeisley took a push from the Rochester player, the whistle was called. And now Yeisley is in the process of, again, still getting his shoe on. It's like Callahan is going to line up this free kick opportunity for the Richmond Kickers. Scoreless here at City Stadium, Richmond, Virginia. USL Soccer, Mike Neville and the rest of our production crew along with you on a beautiful night here at Richmond. So here goes Callahan. He has Mishu with an overlap running to his right. Instead he just drops one, and Miller handles that with ease. So Brandon Miller. Miller does not have the prototypical size of a goalkeeper, but he reads the ball well. Much like the goalkeeper for Charleston, Cooper, very athletic. Cooper does not have the Tim Howard size, if you will, for a goalkeeper. Here's Owusu. That pass attempt knocked away that time by Tosh. So throw in for Richmond. Well, they have Miller listed at 6 foot, 175. And loose ball, Imura tried to slide a pass through, and an offsides flag goes up. As I believe it was Grant again. Yep, Grant was caught behind the defense for the offsides. So a free kick for Rochester. Hey fan, become a fan of the USL on Facebook. That's where you can get exclusive league news plus interactive content. Again, that's the USL on Facebook. Your opportunity, once again, keep up with all the league news by being a Facebook fan of the USL on Facebook. So here's Wara. Rolls it out to Callahan. Sante plays it back. Played now over to Yambi. There's Jalen Robinson. There's Mishu. Kind of heavy with the first touch, but he's able to track it down. Play back to Jalen Robinson. Some high pressure from Rochester. Forces the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper, Wara. And he's going to drive it past midfield looking for Yeisley. Yeisley went down, no foul. And now here's Garzi. He plays it over to Obasai. Now here's Walls. As Rochester again will go back into their possession game. As the Rhinos are content right now with the scoreless draw. And that ball again overcooked over the top. And Wara will settle for Richmond. Again, the USL regular season championship could be claimed tonight by the Rochester Rhinos. The Rhinos pick up a win and they will win the USL regular season championship. A win or a draw, or either a draw or defeat for Louisville City against FC against the New York Red Bulls 2. If Louisville draws or loses and Rochester gets a win tonight, then the USL regular season championship is theirs. That cross headed away and a throw in for the Richmond Kickers. And again, Rochester and Louisville City FC have clinched playoff berths. The New York Red Bulls 2 hold down the third spot in the Eastern Conference, along with the Charleston Battery. The Battery hold down the fourth spot in the Eastern Conference standings. By the way, still got a pretty good race going on out west in the USL standings. The OKC Energy FC, they have clinched a playoff spot. They have 43 points in the Western Conference to lead the Western Conference, and that is 1 point better than the LA Galaxy 2. Then Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC are third with 39 points, and Orange County Blues FC also has 39 points. They've got the fourth spot. The Seattle Sounders FC2 also have 39 points. They are shown in fifth place. And Sacramento Republic FC is in sixth place with 38 points. But Tulsa has 36 points, so they're still much alive and trying to grab a playoff berth in the Western Conference. So we got a substitution. Colin Martin reporting in, number 27 for Mike Callahan. So Martin for Callahan. That ball is handled on a hop by Brandon Miller off the free kick from Richmond. Martin played very well last week against Charleston. And George Davis IV has reported in for Imura. So 2 substitutions apiece for both these teams now. As George Davis IV, who has struggled in finding the back of the net lately, but he's put up some pretty decent numbers coming into tonight. Davis IV has 6 goals and 2 assists. He's got 14 points, but like I said, he has been kind of on a goal drought here recently for Richmond. Maybe he can get a big one tonight to spark the Kickers. Here's McMahon for Rochester. Troyer for Richmond now. And McMahon tried to squeeze a pass through. Voleski was trying to track that down, and now Wara hits it to midfield. Ball flicked ahead. And a pass. Ooh! Mishu was able to make a nifty play there to keep that ball from going through. Here's Anthony Grant. He was tackled. And now the ball pops free. And Grant is whistled for the foul. Here's another long ball over the top. Dixon will track that down. Puts it into the middle of the box. And Robinson harmlessly taps it forward to Mishu. And again, Rochester's defense was right there in the right position. Here's Tosh. Off to Obasai. As Rochester again maintains possession in this scoreless match. Obasai. Off now. Ball played again over the top. Good first touch that time from Del Santos. Del Santos shooting one, and he fired it over the bar. Good turn that time by Del Santos, nickname Duba. So it's a corner kick for Rochester, and I believe it's their first corner kick of the second half. Forbes will handle the corner kick for the Rhinos. And Forbes lifts it into the box. And it's headed down, loose ball. And it's still free. Ball played back to McMahon. Pat McMahon now plays it off to Forbes. And he lost possession. Here comes Richmond on the counter. Grant. Anthony Grant. And a whistle. And a foul. And a yellow card is going to be issued, I believe, to Tosh. So the free kick for the Richmond Kickers. There's Colin Martin lining up this free kick opportunity for Richmond. And Martin just plays it off now to Mishu. And Mishu with a cross. It's skimmed off the head of Owusu. And the foul. And Rochester will have the free kick. Hey fans, don't forget, follow the USL on Twitter for your chance to become a league insider. Also, you can join club conversations when you follow the USL on Twitter. And you can also have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Again, that's the USL on Twitter. Here's Miller with a free kick. And it'll be a throw in for Richmond. Look at the Red Army again. Here's Mishu for Richmond. Ball played ahead and out of play. Throw in, and the ball is played back now to Walls for Rochester. Here's Walls off to McMahon. Again, Rochester very content to just play the possession game. Make the kickers chase a little bit. And as you can tell by their record, with just one loss on the season, that has been a very successful blueprint for them. Obasai playing it off. Apostopoulos playing it forward for Rochester. There's Jaisley. And Martin tried to slide a pass back to him. It was read nicely, and now that going over the top, trying to run onto that and sliding it through. Dos Santos was able to find Dixon, and his first touch just a tad heavy, and it was pushed just wide of the near post. Dangerous opportunity there. There's Mishu for Richmond. There's Colin Martin. Owusu. Nyambi to Troyer. There's Asante. Back to Troyer. Grant is able to hook up with George Davis the fourth. Here's the follow-up and a shot attempt blocked. That was Owusu. And here comes Dos Santos. He's in a foot race with Jalen Robinson. And Dos Santos still fighting off the challenge. Here's Dixon. Dos Santos, I tell you, he looks gassed. He's been bent at the hip for a couple of times here in the second half. Here's a pass off. And Garzi's pass attempt was blocked aside. And Richmond in possession. And now Dos Santos is going to take a seat. I'm not sure if he took maybe an elbow in the stomach, but there's a look at Dos Santos as he is still down. And now Rochester's just going to kick it out of play, so DeSantos can get some attention. I thought he was just gassed, but it looks like he's holding his hip. So maybe it is an injury. It's not that humid of a night. We have a little breeze going, but like I say, he actually went down, laid down on the ground, and now he was holding his hip. And it looks like we're going to get a substitution. And it looks like they're going to bring DeSantos out. And it looks like it's going to be number 9. So DeSantos, you can see him talking to the trainer there. It's like Colin Rolfe will replace him. So that's substitution, I believe, number 3 for the Rhinos. And of course, Richmond, like they do in soccer when there's an injury, they just put it out of play so the team who was affected by the injury gets to play it back. And the ball is played back to Brandon Miller. He's got some pressure from Yeisley, and that pressure forced him to boot it out of play. Here's Mishu to throw it in for Richmond. Troyer plays it back to, Martin played it back to Mishu. Looking over the top for Yeisley, and Grant headed away from Grant that time. And now possession, Troyer off to Jalen Robinson. Robinson taking a look. Good ball along the ground, and Owusu just flicked it ahead. Gets a return pass from Grant and trying to cross it into the middle, and we got a whistle. We've got a Rochester player down, and that is number 5. That is going to be Apostolopoulos. So Richmond will have an opportunity here just outside, just outside the box. And the Rochester player Dixon trying to push the kickers back a little bit further, but the assistant referee would have none of that. Hey fans, don't forget Nike is a proud partner of the USL. You can follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Again, make sure you follow Nike at Nike Soccer on Twitter. Winding down the second half of this scoreless matchup right now between the Eastern Conference leading Rochester Rhinos and the 5th place Richmond Kickers. Colin Martin looks like he's going to take this free kick. Great opportunity here for Richmond from about 19, 20 yards out. Let's see what Martin does with the free kick. He lifts one to the far post, and the ball goes to Forbes for Rochester, so a squandered opportunity there for Richmond. And Mishu trying to battle. Good steal here. Oh, George Davis the 4th, but they said the ball did go over the sideline, so it'll be a throw in for Rochester. Rochester in possession. And Obasai plays it back. Anthony Grant trying to put some pressure on Brandon Miller, the Rochester goalkeeper. Here's Mishu. And again, it's going over the top. Looking for Yeisley. And that ball's headed away by Rochester. And the ball's played back now to Wara. And Garzi, and there's going to be a foul and a yellow card shown to Colin Martin. Lee Collishaw, hands on hips, not too happy about that. Center referee has been very quick with the plastic tonight, especially here in the second half. 78th minute. Martin shown the plastic, the yellow card. Garzi is the one who came up limping, but you can see there he's up and walking. So Rochester in possession. Obasai playing it back. Ball tracked down by Asante. Here's Colin Martin. Martin trying to go over the top for Yeisley. Miller off his line. He's got it. Scoops it up. Miller very aggressive in goal by coming off his line. Ball is flicked down, but Wara is right there to handle. And he's thinking about throwing it out, but the ball punted away. And that ball is headed forward. And Dixon. It's played over. Obasai taking a look. Wara's off his line. He kind of hesitated. And a whistle and a foul against Rochester. Well, a couple of games that the Richmond Kickers are going to lament as this season if they can't get into that fourth spot. Remember the game back here at City Stadium, and I'm trying to get the date for you, but they were playing Wilmington, and the game had to be stopped at halftime because of a vicious storm that came through and wreaked some havoc. I believe that, yeah, that was on June the 20th. So that game went down as a scoreless draw. And then a week later, the same thing happened in Charlotte when the Kickers were battling the Charlotte Independence. And again, it was scoreless at the half. A storm came through with lightning and wind, and again, that game could not get finished. So instead of getting a possible 6 points with 3 points for victory, the Kickers ended up with just 2 points, 1 point apiece for the draws. So those are two games that, unfortunately for the Kickers, could not be completed in their entirety. And a whistle. And they got a foul against Asante. Now we're going to get a substitution. Looks like Sasha Garez is going to come in for Owusu. And again, Lee Collishaw is not happy over on that Richmond sideline. And, of course, the Red Army is not too pleased with what just unfolded either. So the veteran Sasha Garez reporting in. And also Delhi is reporting in for Jason Yeisley. So Tosh I should say, plays it. And that ball is flicked, and Wara will handle it on a hop. So again, if the Kickers cannot move up the standings, those are two games you want to keep in mind if you're a Kickers fan. Here comes Garez, playing it back to Troyer, gets a return pass, and Sasha with a cross, and it's going to be controlled by George Davis IV. And George Davis IV still going inside the box. And he gets a shot. It deflects off right to, that was teed up for Colin Martin as it deflected off a Rochester player. And he fired it wide of the near post. Good run by George Davis IV. But unfortunately, that ball just fell right to Colin Martin, and he blasted it wide. So here's Miller with the goal kick. And Garez. Now Delhi gets a head on it. Loose ball and squirts free to Mishu. And Rochester with possession. Lofting one. That was Valesky trying to chest that one down for Rochester. Here's Troyer. Off to Garez. Garez took a bump from Forbes. And Troyer is able to hook up with Grant. Here's Asante. Good pressure from behind, forced the turnover. Here comes Garzi. As Rochester in possession, McMahon touches it forward to Tosh. And again, Rochester in possession. There's an opportunity for Rochester and Dixon. And Dixon works his way three. Dixon shoots, and it's knocked away by Mishu. He was calm on that one. He was right there on the end line. Great run by Dixon for Rochester, but better defense from Mishu. Here's Tosh, and he fired one just wide. Great opportunity a moment ago for Alex Dixon. And then a great play by Mishu on the line. So Drew Ruggles, number 16, is coming in for Alex Dixon. Richmond's probably pleased to see that, the way Dixon just made a great move. There's a look at Ruggles coming in. Drew Ruggles. So Wara with the goal kick. Deli battling for that 50-50 ball, squirts free. Grant playing it over for Garez, and he can't keep that in play. Throw in for Rochester. Scoreless winding down this second half here at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. Here's Troyer. Troyer still going. And now with it is Grant. And Grant had the Walls take it off his foot. Throw in for the kickers. Here's Garez. Lofting one, Deli and Miller. Again, coming off his line very aggressively and snagging that one in the air. Brandon Miller will punt it away for the Rhinos. Now puts it on the ground and sends one deep. Robinson was able to out-jump Valesky for that one for Richmond. Here's Valesky. And Wara comes off his line to snag that one. Hey fans, don't forget all USL regular season and playoff games are available as you look at the fireworks going off at the Diamond. The Flying Squirrels were in action this evening. Like I said, all regular USL regular season and playoff games are available to you live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today by visiting uslsoccer.com. Again, all regular season, and now we're getting ready with the playoffs right around the corner. You can watch your favorite team in action live, free, and in HD, again on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today at uslsoccer.com. There's Travis Wara. And Wara looks like he's going to kick it away. Instead of punting it, he's just going to roll it out. And Deli battling. And Walls went down. I think he might have taken a stray elbow in the face. He's still down. And now they're going to check on him. Rochester's arguing for a foul against Deli, but they both went up, and I think, like I said, Deli stray elbow, and now Walls looks like he and now I believe it's McMahon that's getting his 2 cents in. And Walls complaining there should have been a call, but Walls will get checked out. Throw in for Richmond. Troyer will handle the throw-in duties. Ball played back to Troyer. Here's Asante. Asante's got some real estate to work with. Trying to go over the top and headed away. And Asante with a good challenge. That ball squirmed free. Here's a shot by Garez. It's blocked. And back comes Forbes for Rochester. And that ball is headed away by Mishu. Mishu's played well tonight for Richmond. Here's George Davis the fourth. Now the ball sent forward. Looking for a foul, no call. Here's Colin Martin. Goes down the line to Grant, and it's cleared out of play. Throw in for Richmond. Mishu will do the honors. Gets it to George Davis the fourth, back to Mishu. And Mishu. First touch eludes Colin Martin, but he's able to track it down. Here's Jalen Robinson. Robinson looking to the far side. Here's Grant. And Grant looking for a foul. None is called. And McMahon keeps the play alive for Rochester. Now the Rhinos in possession. It's number 16, Ruggles. Here's Forbes. Ball controlled by the Rhinos. Obasai. Ball played ahead. And here's Valesky. And Valesky works his way outside the box and then lost possession as Asante was able to pick his pocket. Samuel Asante slams on the brakes and plays it back to Mishu. Rochester still playing with just 10 men because of Walls trying to get his jaw fixed after taking that stray elbow. And right now Richmond cannot take advantage. Here's George Davis the fourth, being watched by Garzi. Here's Troyer. Garez slides a pass to Martin. Back, return pass. Sasha inside the box, puts it across, and there's nobody there. Deli is furious. Here's Grant, Anthony Grant. And he works his way for a corner kick. It's like 3 minutes of stoppage time is going to be added. So here's a corner kick opportunity for Richmond. Sasha Garez lining it up. We're in stoppage time. Garez hits it, and it's tipped away by Miller. And it'll be another corner kick, this time on the other side for Richmond. And we're going to get a substitution from Rochester. I believe that's going to be their final one. Asani Samuels is in. Here's a shot. That was George Davis the fourth, firing one over the crossbar. So Asani Samuels is in for Rochester. I didn't get who he's replacing. That is the fifth and final substitution for the Rhinos. And Miller with the free kick on the goal kick. Looking for Valesky, and he just nudges it ahead, and it'll be a throw in for Jalen Robinson. Here's Wara, back to Robinson. Rochester desperately looking for a goal to pull out 3 points in this matchup. So we're winding down. We're in stoppage time. A good read that time by number 7, Obasai. And there's a turnover as Garez read that pass, and then Forbes is able to take it, and he's got some real estate to work with as well for the Rhinos. Here's Forbes, no pressure, so he'll just keep rolling with it. And here's Asani Samuels off to McMahon. Here's Ruggles. And good hustle that time by Colin Martin, and Colin Martin turns and heads upfield. Colin Martin still going. He's able to get it through. And here's a shot, and Miller had to make a diving stop. The follow-up, and Miller again blocked that attempt from George Davis IV. After the initial shot from Anthony Grant. And that's going to do it. The Rochester Rhinos and Richmond Kickers are going to settle for a scoreless draw, as Brandon Miller, right before the final whistle blew, made two huge stops, one on Anthony Grant, then the follow-up by George Davis IV. And the Rochester Rhinos will pick